I am currently a senior data engineer at Amazon. In simple terms, I basically take care of the data architecture and infrastructure, digital pipelines for Flex organization. It's a part of the database organization for Amazon worldwide.
Awesome. Can you walk us through what a typical day on the job looks like?
Definitely. So a typical day, the job is most of the time two things. Handling ambiguity. Day-to-day ambiguity is around changes, change management, program launches, and a long tail item of like working towards a vision that we have for the year, for the 3 years. So I generally like have a lot of design reviews, hands-on coding, working through pipelines, discussions around new launches. Yep, that's a typical day.
Oh, pretty interesting. So, what drew you to this field? Was it something that you planned, or you just happened to discover along the way?
Kind of naturally transitioned into this role. Actually, I started my career with as an analyst in Deloitte. I was hired from campus as a technology analyst. They happened to put me in information management, and that's where I actually first time and got acquainted with this enterprise level data management. So how they so my one of the first initial projects was like working with Teradata, Informatica, building ETL. That's what kind of introduced me to this domain. I actually grew interest into it. I did more in my next job. Joined a startup in India called Paytm in 2014, and that's where I kind of got exposure to the Hadoop, Spark, and a lot of large data processing frameworks. And that kind of made me interested in this field. And I learned a lot. I tried to grasp new skills in that role. 3 years in that startup was really like a life-changing moment. And
Awesome. So, did formal education play a big role in your path, or were you mostly self-taught?
no, I definitely did. I did my bachelor's in information management and actually information technology around RDBMS or coding or object-oriented programming, data structures. So technically, I did wanted to go more software development route in my college days, but I did take a lot of these courses as well in design and stuff like that. So when I actually started working in this domain, a lot of my coding skills, basic RDBMS concepts and stuff like that really helped me pick up new skills faster. I would say it will give you some benefit, but it's not all. I definitely you learn more on the job, especially in the data engineering field. I did do my master's in information management a few years back. That kind of just allowed me to have a very diverse perspective around how people in various industries deal with information management and data in general. But I would say it's more like complementary right now to have formal education. A lot of it is on job, you learn a lot, but does give you a head start, I would say.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. So, what was the first data or tech skill that you learned that made you think, you know what? I can do this?
Yeah, I remember in 2015, the first time when we started exploring, Spark and Scala. One of my very great managers and leader friend now. He kind of gave us 15, 20 days. And for those 15, 20 days, all had to do was learn how to use Scala and Spark and how can we use this to, solve move some of our data engineering pipeline in Paytm from a MySQL Python based environment to more distributed. And the fulfillment that we bought from implementing such a thing by learning in like 15 day, 20 days span and actually taking to production and then eventually very large scale project and it enabled a lot of stuff around recommendations and store detections and a lot of stuff that eventually supported by this infrastructure that we built. The learnings were tremendous and that kind of made us really proud as a team. I think that all of my colleagues in that particular time duration very well settled right now and we all benefited from the opportunity that we got.
Awesome. Awesome. So, tell us about your first job, where you actually got to use those skills and how did you land it and what was that experience like?
My first job, as I said, I was a campus hire. Deloitte India kind of came to our campus for on-site campus hiring even. I was skeptical. I'll be honest, technology. I didn't want to go into consulting, but it was a technology role. So I was said, okay, let me and they did pay fairly average at that point of time. As for a starter, it was a good brand to go with. So like, okay, it's no harm doing it. I had given some interviews prior to that as well. I was expecting results from them as well. I remember I was doing for Holcom at that time and I cleared my first round and Deloitte interview was that day. And my college had a rule that, okay, you will get selected by a one company or tier one company, you cannot take for other companies. So I had a big big choice to do. Okay, should I play safe and just go and try getting the Deloitte consulting job, or wait for my call upon second rounds? I eventually decided to do Deloitte. I honestly, it was more like a functional plus a behavioral interview process, 3 to 4 rounds, campus hires. And I was then actually put in Hyderabad for a training for 2 months. And that's where I think they kind of trained us on a lot of enterprise tools like Teradata, how to use it, implemented how to use it. And that, I think that particular training really helped using SQL, using all these technologies at an enterprise level. We were working for one of the biggest insurance clients in US, and they had a lot of data, like 200 terabytes of tables for the, just the member tables and stuff like that. So I got very early exposure to large scale data, which I feel was really helpful in shaping my thought process.
So, what challenges or turning points shaped your career the most?
I think after Paytm, joining Amazon was definitely a career shaping moment. I joined Amazon in 2017, and I joined the ads organization. Ads at one time was just growing up. Amazon was starting to focus on advertising, and I got a chance to really apply my skills to, help get ads develop their first distributed AWS based data infrastructure. First 3 years, I did that. I got promoted as a senior engineer, and then I joined another org, which was a very small org at the time, the delivery flex org. And then COVID happened. The delivery was a much, so we grew a lot. With that growth, we had on our own learning. For my last 8 years of Amazon has definitely been something I'm still learning like every day. So very challenging, but it's very fulfilling as well.
Nice, nice. As you say, some of the best things come out of challenge, right? So, how has AI changed the way you work day to day?
Definitely, AI has had a great impact on our both my personal work and also what other thing we deliver. It just opens up another way of interacting with data, which is much easier. You can have wider customer base interacting with data. Previously, if somebody needs to interact with data, they need to understand SQL, or we need to create a dashboard for them to understand something. What we are doing at Amazon, especially if my organization, is trying to make it more democratic, provide AI any guild tools which will allow you to get access to it required than the one information data in much more easy to consume fashion, right? So that's the work stream. On a personal basis, things like Cairo and Amazon Q integration with developer tools really helps, in terms of speeding up the development process. You are still leading the logic development and stuff like that, but it's much easier to, document it or, format it in the right way, or have the right standards in course across jobs, right? I would say I almost 30 to 40% of what we are doing right now is at least touched by AI in some ways. So, and that has changed in the last 6 months drastically. So it's just, I see as an enabler, and I see AI as something that makes us go faster. And, and obviously things like documentation, meaning updating document to the particular context every time and making changes. Those are the things that always require time and energy. And AI is making it very simple for us to do this thing.
Awesome. And, with AI again, what do you do to stay relevant as AI keeps evolving your role?
Yeah, I think I would say, first of all, you should start using AI on a daily basis on your day-to-day stuff that you are doing, right? That just keeps you in loop on how AI is responding to it, and when a newer models comes, and you can actually improve and learn around that prompt engineering, right? So one of the key things that has helped us to stay informed is like we try to use AI like code review and reformat people, or add in test cases, things like that, right? And as in when tools are getting better, you would see their outputs much better. So that's one way of knowing it. There's obviously so much development right now going on. It's hard to keep track of everything. But if you start having an habit of using it for your daily work style, it kind of, like, for example, even as simple as writing an email, it can help you improve the language, like writing a documentation that will make sure that you're focusing, using the right grammar, using the right tone of the document, right? So if you start using it on a day-to-day basis, it kind of, any improvements along the way, you'll be able to catch things faster.
Uh, that's great advice. Now, last question. If someone is just starting out today, what's the single most important advice that you'd give them?
Yeah, this is something a lot of people reach out to me for that. Honestly, everything that you're doing, right, in terms of education, doing the projects, all that is still relevant and still required. Given the market conditions right now, it's definitely, I acknowledge that it's harder to land a job or land something that you would want as a possible just by comparing few years ago. But I would say get your foot in the door, right? Start working in any of the roles that the domain is relevant, right? For example, a lot of analysts reach out to me saying, hey, how can I transition into data engineering? Don't wait for a job for you to transition. Start using data engineering in your current job. See how you can convince people to do something differently and evolve in your current role. And if you do that, because data engineering is very practical skill, you would learn on the job. And if you wait for preparing it and getting a job and then you start doing those things, it would definitely be a struggle. So for anybody who is looking for a transition, definitely start in your current job. Look for opportunities to use things in your current scope. And for somebody who's fresh out of college, focus on getting something that will start make you work in that domain. Don't care about the brand, don't care about the company. Start working in that direction. And as you go, you'll definitely open up doors for yourself to land a better job, land a better brand as you transition from one role to another.
Nice, nice. Golden advice there. And that's it. That's it. Thank you so much, Shubham. That's been really golden advice throughout. And that's it. That's a wrap.
Thank you, Walter. Nice talking to you.